Who is Superman? Well, for the most part, it's supposedly still Henry Cavill, but then David Corenswet could be replacing him. And apparently, not apparently, he did address it, saying he is interested in the role, and it's starting to sound like, there's something to this. Henry Cavill even addressed, he's doing promotion for The Witcher, his TV series on Netflix. And of course, people keep approaching him with Superman questions. Of course, that's to be expected. And they asked about the Snyder Cut. How come he didn't participate in it? And he's kind of sticking with his sentiment that he's first of all, he said he didn't see it. He doesn't know about it as much. He says, I'm sure there is other footage, but I didn't see it. He's not Aquaman. Aquaman saw it. So, and of course, obviously still, pretty sore about the whole mustache thing. And that's probably the big thing there, that really, tore into him, especially since it's pretty obvious he thought he was getting into a Superman trilogy, and he wanted to do Superman movies, and suddenly he's thrown into a Batman versus Superman, and then a Justice League, and all this sort of thing. And it's, I contend all that could have worked had they, mapped it out better. And you still should have had a Man of Steel 2. By now he'd be doing the rounds about a Man of Steel 3 and probably saying, well, it's time to pass it on to someone else, and I'm looking forward to new characters, and I'm in Witcher and all that. All that is probably where they should have been. And then who knew that he had a clone out there? In David Corns, he could pass it off to him. Who right now, Cornsman, I think, is pretty much at the age that Henry was when he started in this Superman thing. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, they look similar. They have a similar look. They obviously are not twin brothers or anything like that, but still, it's kind of interesting that this is the front runner, that they just, well, can you get us another Henry and we'll move on with another one, because they burn bridges with the current one. And yeah, we got one. So maybe, but it would be, even now, if they were actually working now, are there talks still going on with Henry Cavill? There seem to be winks and hints here and there, but does that really mean anything? And that he may have more Superman work to do, and they could wrap that up, and then they work on this other project, whatever that J.J. Abrams wants to do. And yeah, I'm very nervous about what J.J. Abrams will do, because I have not been impressed with the man lately. But we'll see how that turns out. But anyway, he said he would like to do a Man of Steel movie, and that it would be awesome. Well, yeah, he's not going to say it might be good, it might be okay. I don't know. He's going to say it's awesome. So yeah, mustache, it's always going to haunt him about how Justice League turned out, and he sees Justice League, that's all in the past, and I'm moving on, meaning he would just like to do a Superman movie. And and maybe that would be for the best, that he gets the Superman movie there. He pitched one with the Mission Impossible director, Macquarie, and they passed on it. Now that was odd. I don't know, who knows what the pitch was, but and Macquarie said, "Okay, that's that. I'm moving on." He's not waiting around. Cavill's still interested in a Superman movie, but whatever the pitch was, they passed on it, and here I am using Cosmic Book News. He contends it might have been that they would have been well aware of the impending Abrams deal, and that part of that was Abrams wanted a crack at Superman. So that's probably a done deal too. So that kind of makes things a little interesting and a little odd here, that Abrams wants to move on with a younger actor. Previously, I'd said Cavill was 33. I got that wrong, because the discussions about, they don't want to have a Superman who's older than Batman, and Pattinson is now their Batman. But he is 33 and Cavill is 36. So that's kind of a ridiculous reason for not having Cavill's Superman exist with Patton's Batman, you know. Whereas now with Corn Sweat, who is 26, so there's 10 years between him and Cavill. But still, then you have a 33-year-old Batman. So now that puts it a 7-year gap between the two. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Batman just has to be older than Superman. I don't get that. Why? Just, you know, I mean, if they have to be relatively the same age, well, you're still missing the mark. So I don't know. It's a strange thing. Where, okay, we're done with Cavill, so let's find somebody who looks like, and that's where they are. I suppose that it's possible they could do with both. The Crisis CW series is going to have several Supermen. So, but if talks were going on and there is a project that will suddenly be announced and we were caught off guard by it, and that there is some Superman project featuring Henry Cavill, and then that would be a send-off for him, and then by 2023 you'd have a new Superman series with Corswell, that could work out. But and then they could look forward to their Justice League 2 movie, which that's another thing that's rumbling about. They really want to get back to a Justice League versus Legion of Doom scenario. And then maybe Corn Sweat will be the Superman in that conflict. But we'll just have to wait and see. I don't see, like Matt Reeves, it seems a lot of leeway given to him for his Batman as to why there wouldn't be any connection with what went on before, because there clearly isn't. They had, for a while there, it's just, oh, it's set in the 90s. Oh, well, that kind of fits with the, you know, with the timeline for Ben Affleck's Batman, and that this is the younger version of him and all that. But no, it has nothing to do with that. That's completely scrapped if there was ever any attempt at that. It's all gone. And it seems more like Matt Reeves wants to do his own movie and not have any other outside influences whatsoever. So that kind of, to me, doesn't really matter who is Superman, since there isn't going to be any Superman involvement with it. You know, unless Matt Reeves wants to do a Superman movie, but I don't think so. And so it doesn't matter who is Superman. I wouldn't think it would, but it's still quite the mess, even though they've had some hits here, which I believe all of them caught them off guard. They think, gee, I hope it works out. But so now they're kind of, you can't completely scrap the DCEU, but you want to move forward, and geez, and so on and so forth. But if dealing with Henry Cavill is so bad for him, which I guess is what the problem is, I don't know. And on the other hand, he feels kind of, wronged with how they handled, Justice League and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's a mess. It's still a mess. I mean, I know you had some billion-dollar movies, but money doesn't solve everything. Well, it's a business, so, but still, boy, how do you map all that out, huh? And then time's a wasting, because Henry Cavill, none of us are getting any younger, and no different for Cavill. It's just kind of unfair that he never really got a shot. I guess Man of Steel will be the best of what we got for his Superman, and that's unfortunate that he didn't get, because I just rewatched it and reviewed a part of my looking at Zack Snyder films, and that's a freshman superhero. That's the first step, and we don't get to see the other ones. We really don't, and that's just too bad. But maybe David Corn Sweat Superman will get to do that. I don't think, no way in hell are they going to do a Man of Steel film with that guy, because they're just convinced and scared that that's a version of things that you just don't see, which is odd, because everybody complains about the destruction, but good Lord, there's and it's getting tiring to see cities being decimated all the time. But it's every superhero movie, almost everyone. And so, for that reason, it's probably a good thing to kind of stave off that for a while anyway. But anyway, a lot of the complaints about Man of Steel and that whole thing, it was too dark, is a bit much, and it's just kind of, following the crowd on that. But yeah, I imagine David Corn Sweat's Superman would be a lot brighter than what Man of Steel presented. So if any of this is true. For all we know, they'll suddenly announce Man of Steel 2. Hey, who knows, you know? Meanwhile, so that was an interesting thing. He said he didn't really have a reason why he didn't participate in the Snyder Cut thing. It's just he's looking forward and that he doesn't know much else about it. So I guess that's as far as you're going to get from Henry Cavill on that. So anyway, maybe we'll have two Supermen kind of for a while, and then David Gordon Sweat will be the future. Or it's done, and then they'll be announcing David Gordon Sweat's Superman movie. You know, sometime in the future. Who knows? Thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Yeah, that's right, you. And don't forget to check out my Mr. Nailsin video channel on BitChute because, well, we just don't know what's coming to YouTube, do we? No. We don't. But anyway, do check out my videos at BitChute.